Tax debt can happen to anyone, even the most honest taxpayer. You miss something, make a mistake, or fail to answer an IRS letter. Then possibly through no fault of your own, you find yourself in debt to the IRS for thousands of dollars that you don't have and certainly can't pay. It's a nightmare scenario that happens to over 10 million Americans each and every year. But in this video, I'm going to tell you my top 5 ways to deal with IRS debt and get that IRS monkey off your back once and for all. Welcome to Tax Chit Chat, the place where we talk all things tax all the time. Option number 1, fix erroneous returns. When working with clients, we sometimes find that they don't owe the amount of tax debt that the IRS says they do. This can be because the IRS did an audit, but the taxpayer never responded or disagreed with it, so the IRS said that they owed X dollars in tax. Or it could be from when the IRS filed a substitute for return, or SFR. An SFR is the worst kind of tax return that one can have because it's prepared by the IRS. For example, let's take a trucker client that we recently started working with. One year, the guy made $250,000 driving a truck but never filed his tax return. The IRS knew he made the $250,000 because they got a Form 1099 NEC or MISC from his employer. So when he didn't file a return, they eventually created one for him showing $250,000 of income, but they didn't give him any deductions, write-offs, credits, etc. The result? The IRS said that he owed like $70,000 in taxes. But it's important to know that you can always file an original return to replace an SFR. In this case, when we added in expenses and the like, turns out the guy only owes like $14,000 versus $70,000. So if you have any erroneous returns or SFRs floating around out there, then consider replacing them with original returns once you consulted with a tax professional. Option number 2, offer and compromise. Everyone has heard of this when you settle your tax debt for less than you owe. The IRS Offer and Compromise program provides taxpayers that owe the IRS more than they could ever afford to pay the opportunity to pay a small amount as a full and final settlement of their debt. But unlike what the commercials hype, it's not simply telling the IRS, hey, I owe you $100,000, can I settle for say $100? It's actually based on a formulaic IRS calculation centered on what is known as the Reasonable Collection Potential, or RCP. The RCP includes the value that the IRS believes it could collect from the taxpayer's assets, such as houses, automobiles, bank accounts, and other property. In addition to property, the RCP also includes anticipated future income less certain amounts allowed for basic living expenses. So if you owe the IRS, say $100,000 and your RCP is, say, $75,000, then that's the offer the IRS will accept. If the RCP is $1 on that same debt, well then, you've just erased $100,000 of debt for $1. And I don't know about you, but I'd buy that for $1. Now, if you're just barely surviving financially and you can't come up with the RCP amount calculated with your offer, well, that's where the next option, C&C, comes in. Option number 3, currently non-collectible. If a taxpayer doesn't have positive cash flow above the level to pay their necessary living expenses or have equity and assets to liquidate, the taxpayer may qualify for this status. This is most commonly seen when the taxpayer is either unemployed or underemployed. Basically, the status is granted when the IRS says, hey, forcing you to pay the tax right now would cause you an undue financial hardship. So in this situation, the IRS places a temporary hold on the collection of the tax owed until the taxpayer's financial situation improves. Now, what if it doesn't improve? Well then, the tax debt might just expire due to reaching the CSED. If you want to learn more about the CSED, then make sure you check out this video. And if you want to learn more about options on how to deal with a tax problem, then make sure you check out my book, How to Slash Your Taxes Legally and Ethically, which is linked down below in the description. While it's mostly geared towards teaching you on how to lower your tax bill, Chapter 10, entitled What to Do If You Get in Trouble with the IRS, includes close to 20 pages on the topic. Option number 4, bankruptcy. Bankruptcy can discharge federal income taxes if certain requirements are met. Now, I am not an attorney, nor do I play one here on YouTube. So if you're considering eliminating your taxes through bankruptcy, then please make sure you engage a competent attorney who deals with both bankruptcy and tax debt. But generally speaking, in order to qualify, the taxes have to be income taxes, no other type of taxes. You can't have committed fraud or willful tax evasion. The tax debt has to be at least 3 years old. You must have filed a tax return for the debt you wish to discharge at least 2 years prior to filing for bankruptcy, and you pass the 240-day rule. Now, if none of the prior options work for you, then you might want to consider this last one. Option number 5, request an installment agreement. In most cases, the IRS will accept some type of payment arrangement for past due taxes, which are referred to as installment agreements. In short, a payment plan is an agreement between you and the IRS to pay the taxes over an extended time frame. So if you can't pay your taxes all at once, but you think you can pay them off with some time, then a payment plan might be for you. Just know that similar to the other options, you might have to tell the IRS about your income and expenses so they can see how much you can pay each month. Furthermore, penalties and interest continue to accrue until the debt is paid off. So sometimes it's best to just figure out a way to pay the IRS off, like borrowing the money or putting it on a credit card or a home equity line of credit, as IRS penalties can be up to as much as 25% of the tax owed. Now, if you need help with filing some unfiled returns or dealing with your unpaid IRS or state tax debt, then make sure you check out our specialty website, filedoldtaxreturns.com, or get in touch with us via the information in the description of this video. So friends, until we meet again, always remember to keep earning, keep learning, and just like that, this chat is adjourned.